There are some more traditions down here on the field, and one of them is the eagle flying in. It's freedom. It's a tradition that took 12 years to happen here at Georgia Southern because they had to find an eagle with flight capability. He flies into the stadium. He lands on trainer Steve Hines' arm. I was just listening to the huddle, and it was Steve Lobotsky talking to his offensive line saying there's two things I want you to pay attention to. That's cadence and take care of the football. Cadence, take care of the football. Back up to you, Dave.
All right, Angela.
Coach Smart, you're one of the 10 youngest teams in the country. After that great run last year, do you see leadership emerging, and where?
Yeah, I do. We've got a young group. We only have one senior, and he's the best place to start in terms of leadership. He's started every game of his career at Bradford Burgess, but he can't do it alone. We need some of our young guys to step up. We had some guys that played significant roles last year. Now they're playing much, much more significant roles as juniors and sophomores. So it's going to take some time, but I'm excited about our group.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Matt. Thanks, Dave. Coach, a year ago we talked about Tanner Price, and you said it's so hard to ask a freshman to lead your team, but the scales have really tipped for him this year.
Well, I think a little bit of experience. We knew we had a great kid. You know, last year I didn't think Tanner played as bad as a supporting cast. We got his receivers are helping him a little bit. We're protecting him a little better. He's a great kid.
Guys, the discrepancy was not illegal formations for Coach English. The discrepancy was, can you block below the waist on scrimmage kicks? The answer is no, you can't unless it's a pass play, which in fact it was a pass play, so they were able to block below the waist, and that's what the entire argument was about. Guys?
Angela, that's great information.
Well, I don't know if that's dedication or just I was afraid I'd get caught if I turned the lights on, but it was something that it was an escape place for me. It was a place I could go and I didn't worry about my family problems. I didn't worry about anything. It was just me and the ball and the goal, and that sounds corny, and I understand that, but Roy Williams is pretty corny itself, but it was a great place for me to hide. It was a great place for me to escape, and it was a great place for me to do something I loved.
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, women love corny, Coach.
I hope so. One has for 36 years anyway.
Coach Smart, on that second media timeout, you asked your team to go crash the boards. How do you think they responded in this first half?
I thought we did better. I was impressed with our urgency on the defensive end. We need to come up with more of the loose balls. I thought they out-scrapped us from time to time, but our guys are fighting.
There's a lot of people in this community that's very proud of you, not just for your wins, but for something else you've done in the community. I had the pleasure of going over to the Emily K Center yesterday, and it was awesome. Tell us a little bit about that and the history.
Well, the Emily Krzyzewski Center is named after my mom, and my mom passed away about 15 years ago, but it's to help inner city kids in Durham who are talented but have not been given the opportunities to develop their talents, especially in after-school programs. And so we try to educate and help about 115 kids every day, and help them with a scholarship program that takes them through high school. And now we have some kids going to college, and it's really a good thing. We get unbelievable amount of volunteers from our community and from Duke University, and these kids flourish in an environment which teaches them how to dream and do and achieve.
Coach, Kandasevic started out with a hot hand early with 6 points. He hasn't scored since the 15-minute mark. What does your team have to do to find a little more rhythm offensively?
Well, we have to quit turning the ball over and trust each other. We're all wanting to bounce the ball instead of swing it and create some movement here. We have to have better movement this half.
Coach, thanks for being here. It was a long jog up those steps.
You could go in with our team. You look like you're in better shape than my guys running up here to this interview. You need to rest a little bit.
Well, I need to hit the treadmill too if I'm going to be in any kind of basketball shape. Something we want to talk about today is your newcomers. Now the big guy is Harrison. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, he's an unbelievable young man. He's probably as focused, as driven, as disciplined as any freshman I've ever seen. And on top of that, he's very gifted, and he's been having some really good things going on in our preseason, but yet he's still a freshman. He goes up and down a little bit, too.
4 minutes ago, you asked your team to win that segment. The scoreboard reflects that. How do you rate their play?
Well, I take that last 4 minutes as a good sign. There's still too many turnovers. I thought we were a little bit tentative early against the pressure, and against the zone, we've got to catch the ball.
All right, Coach, thank you. There's a lot of traditions here at Georgia Southern. Now your 9th trip to the semifinals. How do you rate your team today?
Well, I'm really proud of our team, and I want to say what a great team I thought Maine had today. Great job by Coach Cosgrove. Those kids really fought, and I'm just proud we found a way to win.
You await to see who you'll play in the semifinals. How do you turn around from a game like this and get ready for the next round?
Well, that's the playoffs. You don't have any choice. We got to do our best to get prepared this week and get ready for whoever it is.
Out of today's positives and negatives, what's the big thing you've got to key on this week as you prepare for next?
Well, just too many silly mistakes. We had, I think, 6 procedure penalties today, and those kill drives, and we can't have those silly penalties. We'll try to correct that and just do a better job playing all together.
All right, Coach, thank you. Go enjoy the win.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Back to you, John. Thanks, Dave. You're going to want to keep an eye out for Garrick Williams, number 74, the center for Wake Forest. He came out the first series with a tweaked right ankle. They taped it this last series. They put 3 rounds of tape on the outside of his shoe. Also, number 80, Andrew Parker, the tight end. He is out until the half. He also has a right ankle injury that they will look at during halftime, Dave. During that first media timeout, Shaka Smart told his team, I want you to stay aggressive. The second point was eliminate Georgia Tech getting into the lane. Now, since that first media timeout, the aggressiveness has certainly increased, and also they've only allowed the Yellow Jackets in the lane 4 times since that first media timeout. Like you said, John, Troy did come off the field under his own power. That's number 32, Troy Eastman. He's being evaluated. It does not look like he's going to re-enter the ball game. They're putting ice on his right leg right now. They will evaluate at halftime, but it does not look good for number 32, Troy Eastman. That last time at Martelli stressed for St. Joe's to double team on the ball screens against Georgia Tech. He also asked them to defend better in transition. All this defensive talk with St. Joe's having the 42-38 lead, I would say the trust and better ball movement offensively that he talked about at the half is working. Welcome inside the Timmons Arena, where the Furman Paladins are taking on the Davison Wildcats. It's Southern Conference action from Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Angela Mallen. Patrick Hushin will join us shortly. Lainey Crowder, our analyst. Both teams come in at 4-0 in the Southern Conference, and Furman has a chance to go 5-0 for the first time in school history.
They sure do. This is a huge game for both teams, not only to see who will stay undefeated in the top of the conference, but for Furman in particular, they have not gone 4-0 at the beginning of their season since the 98-99 season when their head coach, Jackie Carson, was a player here.
Well, let's move to our one-on-ones, and we'll start with Davison. You can't talk about the Wildcats without talking about 6'4" center, Sophia Alexandravicius.
And you cannot talk about her without talking about the fact that she was selected preseason player of the year for the Southern Conference. She rightfully so got that title. She is the total package player.
The Wildcats really put some points up in their last game against Elon 2 nights ago, as Alexandravicius had 23 points. 10 rebounds. Murray had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and Jasmine Kalen had 16 points, 7 rebounds. And Griswold goes up as Furman pulls within 3 points. 19-16. Furman inches closer to a tie. 4:48 remaining in this first half. Great defense by Peterson.
Able to block the shot, keep the ball, and give it to her point guard to get in an offense here. Let's see what they go to here. They've had a lot of trouble getting into an offense tonight.
15 on the shot clock, so in this inbounds play, Furman has got to be able to get it in and score. The Furman Paladins really have to find some offense here.
They've got to find offense. The only thing that's worked for them so far is pushing the tempo and hoping to get a quick shot, because that is the advantage that they have on Davidson. But they've got to find an offensive set that will work.
You know, like you said, they've taken some good looks, can't get it to fall, but the last several minutes, Davidson's played really tough defensively.
They have played great defense and are getting a lot of...
Turnover by Davison as Durdaller gets it back for the Paladins. And a shot by Thompson.
You know, for a lot of programs, that's a risky shot because you have no one to hit the boards if you miss. But I think that's what Furman's got to do tonight, is take some chances on their transition offense.
A 1-point game again. Alexandravicius gets the bucket.
By Sophia Alexandravicius.
Coach Carson's got a more offensive-minded team out there right now. There really aren't too many players that can match up efficiently with Alexandravicius. But hopefully she's hoping at least to create some offense here to go into halftime.
2:16 remaining in the first half. We've got now 10 on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock. Inside, no good. Thompson on the defense. Offensive rebound by Davison. Sitton takes the wide open shot, and Davison goes up by 5.
You know, and what happened there was that was an offensive board by Davidson. Unfortunately, it turned around and gave them 3 extra points. You hate to see offensive boards like that. That's why they're boxing out, rebounding is so important this game.
.12 on the shot clock as Thompson takes it. Katrin Chemika enters the game.
And once again, I mentioned it earlier, but Furman has taken some shots. All of them are on top, which is what you always hear as a shooter. Keep shooting if the shots are on top. Now, if they're short or really off, it might be your night to step off a little bit, but they've taken great shots.
26-20, Davison leads Furman. We have 1:26 remaining in this first half. The Furman Paladins would like to specially thank Jim and Carol Ney of Atlanta for helping make today's CSS Furman production possible. You know, when I watched the Davison practice the other day, I was so impressed by the way she starts her practice off. Every player, 20 minutes, ball handling skills, solid.
That's right. They're a solid fundamental team, and she takes a different approach to her team in preparation for games. And it's really interesting. You know, she said yesterday to us that she's more proactive. She is not going to worry about how the team they're playing will keep them from scoring. She's going to worry about how she's going to score, which is, I think, a unique approach when you focus so much on your team and not too much on your opponent.
Well, Davison shooting 37% from the floor. 6-point lead. Alexandra Ravigas makes that a 8-point lead.
They must have seen us talking about the 10-0 run that Furman had gone on, because I'm pretty sure they came out and now are on a 9-1 run or something like that.
The basket would be big here for Furman. They need a little bit of momentum heading into that locker room.
Her size, being down low, should really be able to help them this half.
Griswold, pull-up jumper, in and out. I know Coach Carson reiterated the importance of just getting a strong tempo at the beginning of this half. No, but you can only tell them so much. They have to be able to do it for themselves.
That's right, and it's a little bit different. She started Morrissey here instead of Murphy. Murphy usually is her go-to point guard to have an up-tempo game. So it'll be interesting to see if she's making more of a playmaker type adjustment with putting Morrissey as the starting point guard this half.
A wild pass by Griswold. Back at Timmons Arena, the Furman Paladins have cut the Davison lead to just 5. The most complete coverage of NCAA women's hoops anywhere in the South is on CSS. CSS offers matchups from the best teams at conferences in the Southeast. Tomorrow, watch the number 16 ranked Lady Dogs take on the Auburn Tigers live at 2 p.m. Looks like I could take some dance lessons from this young lady.
I was about to ask if you were her teacher.
What? You've never seen me on the dance floor, that's for sure.
I could probably learn some moves from her for sure.
11:56 remaining in this game. It's a 5-point ball game, folks. Both teams 4-0. Who's going to go 5-0 today in SoCon play? Inside pass, nearly denied, and Furman's coming the other way. Roberts goes in strong and draws the foul, going to the line. We see Jackie Carson excited. The bench is on their feet. This is the most energy we've had in this ballgame.
That's exactly right, but she's got to be excited. Her team is doing what she has asked of them.
Randolph gets the ball swiped away as Davison's coming the other way. .21 on the shot clock. Sitton picks up her dribble. 10 on the shot clock. And Murray dials in for 3.
You know, Morrissey was guarding her. She got caught up on 2 different screens and no Furman players. They weren't switching, which left Murray open.
And a shot by the Paladins. Booker gets the 3-ball to drop.
What a step back move for her. And she once again had Alexandra Ravigas on her, but no fear. She was able to knock it down.